This is Derf Sites. This HTML tutorial is about image decoration. We have a HTML file here, and the first thing we're going to show is borders on an image. We have three images, and the first one is just no borders at all. The second one has a style border-radius with a value of 50 pixels. This will give a border that's curved, and the radius refers to the circle where the arc will be the corner. So instead of having square corners, you'll have rounded corners. The next border on this next image here is a regular border style, and the value is three parts. It has the thickness of the border, the line style of the border, and the color of the border. In this case, 5 pixel thickness, solid style, and red color. Margins is next. Margins separate an image from its surrounding content. We'll look at this comment shortly. There's three images here. The first image does not have any margins, and neither does the third one, but the middle image has a style, and in the style there's the margin left style and the margin right style. Each one uses 20 pixels, so this will give some separation on the left and the right of this middle image of 20 pixels from the other two images. There's some variations of the margin style. If you just put margin by itself with one value, that value will be applied to all the sides of the image, or you can specifically address individual sides through margin top, margin right, margin bottom, and margin left, as we did here with margin left and margin right in this style. A third syntax that's allowed is to say margin and then put the four sides in the order that they have to be shown in this tag is top, right, bottom, and left. So it's a clockwise around the clock. This one would have 10 on the top, 20 on the right, 10 on the bottom, and 20 on the left. Padding. Padding is similar to the concept of a matte in a framed picture. The matte gives spacing between the picture itself and its frame. In terms of padding with an image, padding will give spacing between the image and its border. Here we have three images, and the middle one has a border, a purple border, and a padding of 10 pixels all the way around between the image and the border. Transparency. There's a style. We have four images here. The first one does not have any transparency applied to it. The next three, there's a style called opacity. Opaque, an object's opaque means you cannot see through it. Opacity is the degree to which you cannot see through it. So 0.75 is 75% opaque, and then we move down to 50% and 25%. As you decrease the opacity, you increase the transparency. So the image becomes transparent, more and more transparent. And when it's transparent, whatever's in the background will show through it more and more depending on how transparent you make it. And when the background is white in particular, this makes the image look like it has a fog or a cloudy effect. It fades away in any case because the background's coming through more and more. A couple miscellaneous items here to take into consideration. Alternate text. Here we have an image with the name missing image. There is no image called missing image.jpg. It doesn't exist, so the browser's not going to find this image. To handle that, there's an alt attribute, and the alt attribute text, whatever it is, will be displayed when the browser cannot find the image. It will actually show a little X mark and a little box where the image is supposed to be, and then this text next to it. Alternate text also is useful and necessary in order to allow people who are using assistive technologies such as a screen reader to be able to use your web page. Screen readers will read the alternate text because they can read regular text to the user, but there's no way that the software can know what the image is. So we have to provide the alternate text, and it will read that, telling the user what is there at that place in the page. Finally, hover text. When you hover the mouse over an image, you can have a little pop-up appear that appears for a certain amount of seconds, and then it disappears, and if you move the mouse again, it'll reappear. And that's achieved through the title attribute. And if you want a multiple line in your pop-up, to get the break in there, you have to use a numeric character reference for a carriage return, which is #13, and of course the ampersand semicolon. So here we have blue cross on our first line, then a carriage return, and then it says this image was created by a Java program. Let's now go look at this page in the browser. Here in the browser, first borders, this image, and all these images were programmatically created. This first image has no border. The middle image has the rounded corners. They're no longer really corners. I guess you can think of them as corner locations. And the third image has a 5-pixel solid red border. Notice that there is a default spacing between images, rather small. Margins can be used to increase that spacing. Here our middle image has extra margin on its left and its right to achieve whatever separation you desire in your page. Here are 3 images. We use padding now on this middle image. Padding, again, this white right here is between the image and its border. The image itself kind of looks like a picture in a frame. Again, it was programmatically generated. So this reminds us about the concept of padding being like the mat in a picture, in a frame picture. Here we have transparency on this image. It's the same image, its original look, and then as we decrease the opacity, it becomes more and more transparent, and it kind of looks cloudy or foggy in this case. Alternate text, couldn't find the image, so there's the little X in a little box where the image should be. The alternate text is displayed and would be also audibly read through assistive technology. Finally, down here, the hover title. If I take the mouse and put it over the image, there it pops up. It's a 2-line little pop-up, and it goes away. If I move the mouse again, it doesn't really do anything. I have to go outside and then inside, and then you'll see it again. This is very useful for everyone because sometimes you don't know what an image is when you're looking at it, and to be able to put the mouse over it and have some small or even a larger paragraph there describing the image is a useful feature on the web page. We'll go back one last time to the HTML file. In this page, now that we've gone through it and viewed it in the browser, we see that it's quite easy to decorate images in various ways with borders, margins, padding, transparency, hover text, and alternate text. This concludes this tutorial.